to address this because I realized how important it was in retreat, is what kind of position are you going to do, you know? See, because the thing is that in order to induce stillness, you have to be very still in your body. That is for sure. That is for sure. So you actually have to be physically able to keep still. And the scriptures in these kinds of texts all say, you know, the first thing is lock your legs into half or full lotus, they'll say, right? This comes from a text from 750 AD. Master Kamala Shila, who wrote a book called Stages of Meditation. And that's the first thing he says, you know, you've got to get your legs into lotus or half lotus. Well, sorry, you know, like 95% of my world, that's not happening, you know, so what else can we do, right? Right? So there's lots of different things that you can do, but I just want to elucidate a little on why they say this. Why do they all want us in full lotus or half lotus? You know, the reason has to do with what Roger was telling us about drawing the prana from the side channels into the central channel. All of the physical postures of meditation and all of the physical postures of asana, frankly, have one goal, and that is to allow you to sit still, quietly and comfortably for a long time, quite a long time. That's the big purpose of asana practice. And so, why though? Because these positions of locking the legs up already are inducing a reversal of the flow of the pranas into the central channel, back up into the side channels, and then into one of the gateways and into the central channel. And especially lotus posture automatically locks the prana in, and it sort of causes a state of, you could say like, it's kind of like high blood pressure. I mean, it's not high blood pressure. It's high chronic pressure, right? But you can think of it like it puts you into this state of high blood pressure, right? Because it literally locks you in. And it makes this, automatically props the spine into the optimal position, the actual central channel into the optimal position. In any other position, including half lotus, you can do funky things with your spine. But if you are in full lotus, it props you into the actually exact position of your spine. And of course, it's prerequisite that you can get into lotus correctly and indefinitely, right? And so, can you wreck your knees doing that? Done that, been there, done that, you know? So, you have to be very careful, you know, for those of us who haven't spent our lives sitting in a deep squat, you know, on the side of the road waiting for the bus, right? And that kind of thing, right? Like if that's not what you've been doing all your life, you know, and having your babies like this and, you know, pooing like this and peeing like this and doing many, many functions of the day in this position, if that's not us, then it's not likely, see, that we're ever actually going to be able to comfortably sit in lotus position. I mean, it's very, let me say that you either have to have some serious karma associated with it, that, you know, you've just come from several lifetimes in India or Tibet or somewhere, you know, or like, you know, you, like our teacher has been sitting in lotus positions and cross-legged positions since he was in his early 20s. So he can maintain that kind of position. So then what? Then you have to assume whatever position allows you to keep a very straight spine, because without that very straight spine, there's no chance that the physical thing can happen that Roger was talking about. The physical thing that needs to happen is that the prana gets sucked into the central channel from the side channels at one of the gateways, which are the chakras. And if you're at all slumped, or, you know, your chin is in a weird position or tilted too far back or this or that, right? It's just puts more of a crimp on the central channel. The side channels are putting more of a crimp on the central channel. So it's all about the sushumna. It's all about the spine and having it be absolutely as straight as possible. And that's an interesting thing. So, you know, we'll talk about that more. But So can you sit in any other position but a cross-legged position, half lotus, full lotus? Yes, you can. If I had a chair, I would show you. Later we'll get out a chair and I'll show you. And what you need to do if you're going to sit in a chair for meditation is to prop yourself on the edge of the chair in such a position that you're not slumping, back into the chair. And you're propped comfortably and your knees can bend at about 90 degrees and your hands can rest comfortably on your thighs. And you can maintain a very comfortable and tall position. And many people we know meditate in this position and it's perfectly acceptable and works great. Lying down in supine is fine, but the likelihood of falling asleep, which is one of the two grave dangers of meditation, the other being, thinking about nothing but lunch for breakfast or whatever, right? So it's either you're agitated and distracted with what you're going to eat next or you're falling asleep. Those are the two obstacles in meditation. So the danger of falling asleep is really high if you're lying down. So I don't really recommend it, but but then again, if you're very distracted and agitated, it might be a good